Welcome to episode 19 of our class story maximum XP playthrough. So in this one we are on Corellia, we're finishing up Corellia, and we are working to see how much XP we can get just by doing the class missions. So, a little bit of setup here. We need to go ahead and redo our buff here, switch that out, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So we'll do this conversation and then kind of explain what we're doing here. So one of the things that we're trying to accomplish is just to see how much XP you can get by only doing the class missions on all the planets. So we have stacked as much as we can. So it is a double XP event. So that already starts us off at double XP. Then we are wearing a set of armor that gives us a 50% increase in XP. We just applied the consumable buff, so that gives us another 25%. We are in a guild that has a 15% buff going, and also a 7% ship buff to XP. So that is all stacked up. Now, beyond that, we are also working on class missions, so we went ahead and put the perks in for 30% class mission and 30% exploration mission buffs. So that's one of those that hopefully we thought was going to get us there. Now, as you can see, we are halfway through Corellia, roughly. And we are currently sitting at level 69. So a couple of things there. One, we absolutely have gone past the level 50 that the original planets were intended. We don't appear to be on our way to 75 though. Getting to 75 in the original planets seems a little bit ambitious. So that is not actually taking place. All right, where is Garza? Garza's over on Axial Park. All right, so let's go ahead and travel. Now we have unlocked the heroic missions, and we did that for this very reason. If you look at the map, we would have to normally travel over there via speeder, but there is a heroic mission relatively close to where we need to go. So we are going to go ahead and use the quick travel of the heroic mission to get us over there. It does save us a little bit of time. We are doing 2 video series with this double XP event going on. Don't want to go in there. The first one is this one. Well, it's not the first one we recorded, but of the 2, we've got this one where we're doing just the class missions. And then we also did a second one where all the same setup. So, you know, double XP, all the same buffs and XP bonuses and different things like that. But instead of only doing the class missions, we went ahead and did everything on the planet from the very first planet. So in the case of the Trooper, starting with Ord Mantell. And then we just ground through to see how much XP we could actually generate, especially on those low-level planets. Already, if you're looking at the length of these 2 different video series, depending on if you're watching this as I upload them or later on, you'll notice there are more videos in this series than there are the Do Everything series. So that one ended up winning. You got experience faster doing that. But we are still curious about where this is going to lead us. So, like I said, it's not looking good that we are going to hit 75 by the time that we get to the end of Corellia here. So we may continue on and go ahead and, in the spirit of the original game, Ilum was part of that as well. And so we may actually continue on to Ilum to see if that's enough to put us over. Now, I don't think this is a shot against the game itself. We are pushing the leveling far beyond what the original intent was, and there is tons and tons of content after the original story. So if we wanted to level all kinds of different ways, we absolutely could. All right. So there's level 70. and we still have some missions to go. So we're hoping that we can push through to, I think 71 is possible. I think 72 is on the outside edge of what we're actually going to get. So let's go ahead and apply a couple of things here. We don't get another one of those till 75, so we're good to go there. All right, let's head out. So that's kind of a recap of where things are. We've recorded the entire experience, so all the episodes, if you're watching this one, are definitely available. We are also going to upload a conclusion video where we'll take and we'll actually analyze the information. You know, we'll analyze what happened, what the rates were. Been trying to keep track of how much XP we get every 15 minutes. I take a reading, and I think I've gotten them all in both playthroughs. There might be a data point 2 missing that we'll have to recreate off of the video in context, but assuming that I've got all of those, what we will do then is we will dig through and actually plot those out. We'll plot out how much XP we're getting at every quarter hour mark and just see what the rates are. We might actually find that while the early planets were quicker for the do everything, it might actually tail off as we get to the later planets, at least for the ones that we did. So that is where things are. I've mentioned this in some other videos, but one of the downsides to only doing the class stories here is you spend a lot of time doing exactly what I'm doing here. That's on the complete other side of the map. It's designed to have all kinds of other missions in between that one and kind of your final destination, and we're skipping all those. So we do spend a lot of time kind of in this mode where we're just traveling, trying to get there. And that does eat up a little bit of time. But that is kind of part of it. So again, I don't want to take that as a shot against the game or the game development, because we are playing the game definitely not the way it was intended. Now that being said, even without a double experience weekend, if you had the gear, you put the consumable buff on, and you bought out the perks, I think you could comfortably level at the pace the planets are supposed to be by only doing the class missions. That seems a very achievable thing to do. If you did the class missions and the purple planet missions, you would definitely make it as well. And I think if I would have done this that way, where I did both the class missions and the planet missions, not all the side quests, but the main story arcs, we easily would have hit 75. That's a lot of experience that we left on the table by not doing those. So that's where we kind of are from a on-the-fly analysis. As we kind of compile all the data together, we'll get a little more in depth in our analysis of what happened. Now, obviously there are plenty of other ways to level your character. There's flashpoints and PvP and pretty much anything else you'd want to do in the game. Taking this all in, only doing the story missions approach, probably not practical from a normal gameplay standpoint. But we did choose to do it this way so that we could collect the data and just see what the difference are. I've made sure that I have played solo all the way through, so I've not been in any groups, and did everything I could to keep essentially the playing field the same between the two, the only difference being on which missions that we actually did. All right, I think that covers pretty much everything, so we're going to get back into the Corellia side of things. It's been a mixed kind of walk down memory lane. I haven't done the story missions for any class in such a long time that it's interesting to revisit some of these things. Now, That being said, we are spacebar skipping and taking the default response on all the missions, so arguably we're not getting a lot out of the story. And that's kind of another point. Because we are doing this to try to get through quickly, we are missing a lot of what this content was designed to be, and that is the story. So kind of keep that in mind. This is not the way you would want to play the game if you were looking to enjoy the game. Let's see, where do we plant the explosives? It's right there. But it has been kind of fun to see a lot of these locations that I can't say that I have seen in a very long time. I haven't leveled through a lot of characters for quite a while. Maybe the Dark versus Light event. It's been a long time for some of them. All right, where do we need to go? Disable sensor arrays. Thankfully, that looks relatively close, so we won't have to go out too far. Also, you notice I haven't been bothered looting. Anything that takes just that little bit more time. You know, if you do something that only takes a few seconds, but you do it hundreds and hundreds of times, it definitely will add up on you. So, haven't been looting. We haven't been collecting resources. You know, all the normal things you would probably normally do in the game, just to try to keep the pace going. Especially in this playthrough. The quicker we get to the class missions, the quicker we get those big chunks of experience. Okay, did I pick all the right ones here? Don't seem to have. There it is, my tech override. Okay, yeah, that's right. Let's see, so we need to find a couple more arrays. Any more down there? Nope. Are there any up here? Don't see any. And so for in this playthrough, I've also been oftentimes scouting around and avoiding combat when I can. In avoiding combat, we are also giving up lots of experience. So if you look, even just that last fight, that was a 20,000 experience fight. And that's one of those that if you do a lot more combat, obviously there's the potential for a lot more experience. Alright, I guess we are going to go up here. See if we can find any up here. Not sure how spread out they are. They all look to be in this area. So it's one of those, the trade-off is faster to get the missions done, but you gain less experience, right? That was a 26,000 for that fight. So that's a lot of experience we're, I would argue, leaving on the table. All right, I am feeling like, there's one. I thought I was definitely missing something, but these might be in certain places, and I just don't know the correct location. So let's see if we've picked up one here. We got one towards the middle there. Let's assume that they're somewhat spread out and don't respawn. We'll work our way back this way. See if we can find one on the other side of the circle. Yep, there we go. Using a little bit of logic and also looking for a big group of guards. Okay. Speak with Garza. Where is Garza? She's in the next area, so looks like we have a couple of missions that we can grab over there. So let's do the Starfighters of Corellia. And again, we're not going to run the heroic. We're just using it to get us traveled closer. There's two ways to get to the new areas. You can do what I'm doing. Now it's definitely closer here. Now, you could have made an argument that we could have went to Axial Park And if we would have actually, we would have had to come all the way back up here to get our quick travel and stuff like that. I think that would have taken longer. So we're trying to do all the little shortcuts that we can do to make things go faster. The other part about doing it this way, let's say it takes roughly the same amount of time. When you're traveling via the travel speeders, not on your own speeder, you don't gain the exploration XP. So we actually get that as well. And on this planet, that's got to be a decent amount. Let's see how much we get as we go into this new area. Should pop up here. So what did we get? 14,284. It's a respectable amount. We're trying to get there. Probably need to go that way. Doesn't look like we're going to get the experience for that, so let's go this way and actually get ourselves on the right track. All right, so we have hit just past the 15-minute mark. Could argue we might take that 14,000 experience off, but we are level 70. We are 431,794 towards 71. But again, that 14,000 may have hit after the 15-minute mark, so we'll check the video, and if it did, we'll take that off for the data calculations. For the actual playthrough, it doesn't really make that much difference. The other thing that you would probably gain, I am doing data tracking and recording and different things like that and talking through different systems. If you were just playing the game, you would probably gain a little bit of efficiency as well, and that would speed it up a little bit. Arguably, we are coming up on 9.5 hours into this. To go from level 0 to 70 in 9 hours isn't too terribly bad. If you wanted to do it the absolute quickest way, then what you would probably do would be to go ahead and buy the token that just automatically creates a character at either level 65, 70. Depends on when you buy the token, what the maximum level is. They do adjust that as the game changes, and so when you're watching this video, that might vary a little bit as well. We're going to pop over here, since we're relatively close to this speeder site, just to see. There should be a quick travel point associated with it. There we go. So we unlocked that. That way, if we need to get back here quickly, we can, using that quick travel point. Don't think we'll have to. I think we're pretty safe to not have to duplicate our travel. For the most part, the class stories is pretty linear as you work your way across the planet, right? You keep working your way through, and once you visit an area, you move on. You don't come back to a lot of areas, although it does happen on occasion. All right, I think this is it. So I guess this is not going to give us enough experience to get all the way to 71. Let's see what happens. All right, nope, okay, we're not done. Cool. So it looks like we've got more missions to run. That's good. It's going to be a little disappointed if we only got halfway to 71. I took the long way around to get in and out of this building. All right, let's head back this direction. I don't know if going through there is going to be faster than just coming back the way we came. Although, we did the starfighters. Is there another? I don't think there's a second one in this area. Sometimes there's two. Yeah, there's starfighters. I think those are both both starfighters. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing another heroic. I thought I saw a circle that was different, but biological warfare and under new management. I don't think either one of those are in this area. Concierge. There's under new management. Yep, there's biological warfare. So we are going to have to travel it. Probably should have checked that while I was driving. That's all right. All right, we'll cut up this way and then get ourselves over there. Unfortunately, we already used our starfighters to get to this area. And they do have a 60-minute cooldown. So yeah, I guess if you wanted to completely maximize your time, you could go grab dinner and do it later, but that does seem like a waste. All right, so as we're traveling up here, let's see, other things in the series. So I think I mentioned that we did an all-in one. That one covered a lot less planets. We blew through level after level. It was crazy insane how fast sometimes you would gain levels. And you were very, very over-leveled when it came to the planets there. Here we are still very over-leveled. We're 20 levels over the design of the game. So we're definitely gaining levels faster than needed. And then, like I said, there is tons of content still available. So you wouldn't even have to level as fast as I did to make good progress. And you would have plenty of other things to do. We're going to probably continue forward. Although we are out of class missions, the next logical conclusion for the early game version was to travel to Ilum after this. And so since Ilum is available, I think we might do that and just kind of count it as an extension of the main story / class mission. Even though it wasn't unique for each class like the class missions are. It will give us something to push forward. Unfortunately, just given the rate that things are going right now, I don't foresee us even getting to 75 with Ilum. We'll see how far we get as we kind of finish this up. If we somehow get a lot of experience and end up getting to 73 somehow, I guess it could be possible to get 2 levels on Ilum, but I think 72 is going to be ambitious, and I'm guessing we're going to be somewhere in 71 by the time it's all said and done. But we'll see. That's why we're doing the experiment. Again, I know this playstyle isn't for everybody. It's kind of a power gamer, but I'm doing it more as an experiment, not necessarily as a way I would see a lot of people playing the game. If you take the information that we're gathering, the idea behind this is if you wanted to play more casually, but you did not want to, let's say you've played the game 3 or 4 times on the Empire side or 3 or 4 times on the Republic side, but there's a class you haven't done yet. And you just don't want to play through all of the side missions that you've seen a bunch of times. I wanted to see how practical was it to be able to just do the new parts. You know, the class missions would be new to you and still stay leveled. And at least with all these insane boosts on, absolutely, very doable. Could you do it without a double experience with all this stuff on? I think so. I think that would actually work as well. I think you could get pretty close if you don't have the armor and you're not in a guild. Just with your double experience, you buy the perks and you use your consumable buffs. Because I've still got 8 of these and I've only earned those in playing the game. I didn't buy any of those. So I think that would also be achievable. And so again, you wouldn't have to do it in a speed run fashion. You could enjoy the game, watch all the cutscenes and the stories, but be rest assured that you would still be making good enough progress that you wouldn't have to do the content that you don't want to do anymore. So from that standpoint, we're going to call, the experiment a success. We have definitely proven that is more than doable. I am tempted, and I might not do it in quite such a cram everything in as fast as you can fashion, of potentially trying that when it's non-double experience. Just stack up as much as the experience boost stuff and just see. Maybe play through the first 4 planets and just see if it matches. See how close we can say to staying up on levels. But my mental math says even if we cut a third of our levels off here, so it'd be 20 some levels, we would still be right at 50, which is where we're supposed to be on this planet. So that's I haven't analyzed the data yet conclusion, but seems reasonable. Okay. Don't know if those guys on the inside there count. Are there any guys left out here? I don't see any, so hopefully they do. I didn't want to go in there and kill those just in case they are part of the next leg of the mission, but I think we're safe to do so. There's 4, and we need 4 more, so the math makes sense. The other thing that I've talked about as we've kind of gone through some of these is a stealth character could potentially play this a lot differently. Now that'd just be avoiding a lot of combat though, so that would actually slow down your leveling a bit because you wouldn't be getting the experience from that either. All right. Yeah, 570 for that one. So that's going to help. Okay, that gets us into 71. Where do we need to go next? Up there. Let's do a quick check to see if there's anything we need to train. We do not. All right, on to the next. All right, we're 2.5 minutes from the end of this episode. I was really hoping to be able to finish Corellia on this playthrough. Not sure if that is going to be a doable thing. Depends. What is this part of the mission? But I think this one we made some choices. We may have made our life easier or harder based off the choices that we just made. We will see. So it looks like we're heading there. I'm not sure where everybody else is going. Okay, so if I remember right, you could actually choose. You've got different squads, different like armor and things like that, and you could send them on different paths. And based off of those decisions, you could essentially, make the mission easier or harder, depending on what you actually chose. There's been a few times where we've had those decisions, and again, I'm just pressing 1. That is my playthrough style for this one, so that means that we choose whatever that gets us. Mostly that's just to speed things up. If we're just pressing 1 and not actually making decisions, then we don't have to worry about how, analyzing the conversations, because that would actually slow stuff down. All right. Go ahead and we'll pop our nice little shield there. I'm not too worried about the damage that we'll take. but it does do a nice reflection. So it does actually damage them. And then that will help heal us, because every time they hit us, now we're getting healed. One thing I have said in a few videos, I haven't bothered to put any armorings in this armor. So if you look at this armor, it is still rating 8. I haven't put anything in to improve it. Partially because I just didn't want to spend the time, and partially because it did finally get to the point where I just kind of wanted to see, can you survive with essentially little gear? You know, I've got a 114 here, a couple of 124s there, and that's it. I'm not running a lot of high-end gear. And now we're just doing story missions, so it's not, you know, we're not doing competitive operations or flashpoints or anything like that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's where we're at as far as gear is concerned. Sorry, I had a little bit of a combat brain fart there. And I think he's stuck. So something that can happen. Sometimes, oh, he made it through. Sometimes when they get stuck on thresholds, when you move from area to area, that can happen. Alright, we have gone past our end results. So while we fight these guys, we'll say we are level 71. We have 311,336 XP towards our next level. And that's where we're going to kind of leave off in this episode. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Join us on Twitter or Discord, and actually we can have those conversations as well. But until next time, we will see ya.